All right, let's dive into a story that's got family drama, a little bit of Oscar controversy, and a whole lot of Brazilian pride.
Yeah, Fernanda Torres, she's got that Oscar nom for I'm Still Here, but there's this whole other layer.
It all goes back to her mom, right? Fernanda Montenegro.
Exactly, back in '99.
Oh yeah, Central Station, I remember that. It was like the whole country was behind her. First Brazilian actor ever nominated, and then...
Well, Gwyneth Paltrow won for Shakespeare in Love.
Right, with the Harvey Weinstein machine behind her.
Exactly, it was peak Weinstein, big publicity push.
Yeah.
And even Glenn Close recently said she was kind of baffled by that win.
So Brazil was, well, let's just say they weren't thrilled.
You really have to understand Montenegro, she's an icon in Brazil.
Like, beyond just an actress.
Way beyond. Stage, screen, you name it. She's even got the National Order of Merit. That's like their highest honor.
Wow, so it was a big deal for her to even be at the Oscars.
Huge. She actually said she felt like a creature from Jupiter landing in Hollywood.
I love that. Okay, so then fast forward to now, 2025, and it's her daughter, Fernanda Torres, who's nominated.
Right, for Best Actress.
And for I'm Still Here. But in Brazil, she's known for, like, comedies mostly, right?
Yeah, mostly. So this role in I'm Still Here, it's a pretty dramatic turn for her.
The film itself is about, well, it's tough subject matter, right?
It's based on a true story about a family that gets torn apart during Brazil's military dictatorship.
Oh, wow, in the 70s.
Yeah, Torres plays the wife of this congressman who disappears. And get this, Montenegro's in the film too.
Oh, really?
She plays an older version of Torres' character. Kind of brings it full circle, with the whole Oscar history there.
And didn't Torres win the Golden Globes for this role?
She did. Dedicated to her mom, talked about how art endures all that.
That's so sweet. They're like this mother-daughter Oscar club now, right? You've got them, Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli.
Diane Ladd and Laura Dern.
Yeah, and Goldie Hawn and Kate Hudson.
Exactly. It really makes you wonder, though, can you really have redemption, like in the world of awards? Can one win make up for another's loss, especially with something as subjective as art?
That is a good question. Okay, so let's actually dig into I'm Still Here itself. What's making this film connect with audiences?
This film goes deep, into this really dark period in Brazil, the military dictatorship.
Yeah, that was from like 1964 to 1985, right? I mean, a lot of political repression, censorship, you name it.
Exactly. A whole lot of human rights abuses, too. It's all there in the backdrop of this film.
Heavy stuff.
Huh.
So how does the film actually, handle all of that? I mean, it's got to be sensitive, right?
They don't shy away from it at all. The fear, people disappearing, silencing anyone who disagreed, it's all there. But it also shows how brave people were, resisting, fighting for some kind of justice.
Torres' character, she's searching for her husband, right? She kind of embodies that, I guess. Must have been a tough role.
Oh, absolutely. She's not just like a sad wife. She's the symbol of the whole country's grief, this trauma they all went through. You really feel it, the fear, not knowing what's next, trying to keep hope alive.
It makes me think about how Brazilians must have felt watching this, especially those who lived through it.
Right, like a catharsis. I think for many, it was. This film really got the whole country talking about that time, bringing back all those buried memories, those emotions.
So I'm Still Here becomes more than just a movie.
Yeah, way more. It's like this cultural touchstone. And then you add Torres' Oscar nom on top of it all just adds up,
It does. It's like they're not just recognizing her as an actress. It's about the power of this whole story.
It's about giving a voice to people who couldn't speak up, about facing a tough past so you can have a better future.
Didn't Torres say something about how important this recognition is for Brazil, internationally?
Yeah, she did. It's like, for her and for her mother before her, it shows that Brazilian art matters, that their stories deserve to be heard.
That makes a lot of sense. So this whole Oscar thing, it's got to be pretty emotional for Brazilians. It's not just about Torres, it's about their history.
Yeah, and about reclaiming their own narrative. For so long, the story of the dictatorship, it was told by the people in power. Now, films like this, they're giving a different side.
The side of the people who actually suffered.
Exactly. And it's like a reminder, right? We often only hear history from the winners. You got to actively go and find those other stories, the ones that got silenced.
And film can do that, right? Give them a voice. I'm Still Here. Does that. Makes you feel it all.
It does. And that's why this whole deep dive is so fascinating. We're not just talking about some awards show. We're talking about history, politics, what it means to be Brazilian, how art changes how we see the world.
Right. It's about the power of cinema. It's not just entertainment.
No, films can challenge you, make you think, inspire you. They can make you face things you might not want to see. like holding up a mirror.
And sometimes, like with I'm Still Here, give you a little bit of hope. Like even when things are really dark, people can still be strong, come through it.
Which brings us back to Torres and this Oscar nomination. I mean, win or lose, she's done something pretty amazing.
She's gotten the world to pay attention to this story, started these conversations about the past.
It really shows the legacy of her mother, too, Montenegro, and how powerful it is to tell stories. They both, in their own ways, put Brazilian film on the map.
It's a pretty powerful legacy, for sure. Makes you think about bigger questions, too, like what does it mean to have redemption when it comes to art? What stories need to be told? Who gets to tell them? Big, big questions. And they go way beyond just the Oscars, the awards, all that. But maybe that's the point. The Oscars come and go, but the stories, they stay with us.
Exactly. And that's where the real impact is, how this film makes people feel, what it makes them think about. I'm Still Here. It creates these ripples.
Okay, let's think about the bigger picture now. What does Torres' nomination mean for Brazilian cinema? Is this like a new wave, more global recognition? So we've been talking about Fernanda Torres and I'm Still Here, this incredible film about Brazil's past. But what does this all mean, for Brazilian cinema overall? Like, are we seeing a change, more attention on films from Brazil?
I think with Torres being nominated, especially with how many categories I'm Still Here is up for, it kind of feels like this trend we've been seeing people wanting films from outside of Hollywood.
It's true. We are seeing more international films get recognized, and not just for Best International Feature, right? Like Best Picture, Best Director, those big ones. Do you think that's a real change in how the Academy thinks, or is it just like a temporary thing?
It's hard to say, really, but I think there are a few things happening. With all the streaming services, it's so much easier now for people to watch films from anywhere.
Right. You don't have to just wait for that one little art house theater to maybe show it.
Exactly, and when people watch more films from different places, they start to understand those cultures better, appreciate different ways of making movies.
It's like the world is getting smaller, I guess.
Yeah.
Or at least we can experience more of it through film. So in a way, Torres getting nominated, it's not just good for Brazil. It's good for anyone who wants to see different kinds of stories in cinema.
Yeah, exactly. It shows that film is becoming more inclusive, more representative of all the amazing stories out there in the world.
It really is something to celebrate, for sure. Maybe we're seeing like a whole new era starting in Hollywood, one where international films aren't seen as so foreign or different, just part of everything.
That's a big question, I think. We'll have to see how things go over the next few years. But one thing's for sure, audiences want those stories that challenge them, make them see the world differently. And I'm Still Here, it does that. It's about something specific to Brazil, but also something everyone can relate to. Love, loss, being strong in tough times.
Earlier you said that the success of I'm Still Here could mean more opportunities for other Brazilian filmmakers. Could this be a big moment for Brazilian cinema? A chance to really get a foothold, on the world stage?
It's definitely possible. You know how it is. Success often leads to more success. The attention on I'm Still Here could mean more money for Brazilian films, more chances for Brazilian actors and directors to show what they can do.
That would be incredible. And to think it goes all the way back to Fernanda Montenegro, her nomination back in 1999.
Right. She really paved the way, took that first step onto the world stage, and now her daughter's carrying the torch, taking it even further.
It's really beautiful to see that, this legacy, the connection between their stories and how much one person can change things.
It shows you, too, that art isn't just about one person's success. It's about representing something bigger, connecting with people, leaving a mark on the world by telling a story.
As we finish up this deep dive, I can't stop thinking about this idea of redemption. Does it really exist when it comes to awards? Is Torres possibly winning like a makeup for her mother's loss? Or are they both, amazing performances that should be recognized on their own? What do you think?
That's a tough one. Awards are always going to be subjective. It's just a group of people's opinions. They can never really capture everything about a piece of art.
Right. But at the same time, awards do mean something. They can make certain stories stand out, give certain people a voice, and they can definitely get people talking.
They can.
So maybe it's not just about the award itself, but what it represents, what people make it mean. And with Torres and Montenegro, their story says a lot about family and strength and how art can last through anything.
We'll leave you with this, listeners. What does it mean to be recognized for your art? Is it about awards, or is it something deeper, something more personal?
And definitely check out I'm Still Here if you haven't already. It's a powerful film that will stick with you.
Until next time, keep diving deep.